Look at this little debut here. Well, welcome. We figured we haven't shared with you together.
Yeah.
I'm Thane.
And Dylan.
Well, today we are potting up some plants that need to be potted up very severely. It's been a little hectic here on the farm. And so...
We've been busy.
Yeah. What do you think of these little bags?
I like them.
Yeah. Well, this is our first season.
Yeah.
Not just at this place.
But doing a lot of this
Would you
stuff.
ever have you ever held the title of let's just say gardener?
No.
In your life?
No. No, in fact, I think there are probably going to be anybody that knows me who's seeing this is probably thinking that this is like not true and wondering where the green screen is.
I just think about kid me.
Yeah.
And like my mom always grew stuff in the garden and outside, and I would be voluntold to help my mom. And I remember despising being dirty, you know, the soil.
Gloveless.
Gloveless. So you didn't really think that this is where you were gonna grow up to be. Are we grown up?
Oh, we're still growing up.
We're still growing up.
Yeah.
So what, other than like, you know, being with me, makes you want to at least like grow food?
Well, I think it's like really upsetting how disconnected I think like a lot of our society is from where our food comes from and what our food looks like at different stages. And I think that like being able to reconnect with that, like, sure, maybe this isn't something that was necessarily part of my vision for my life growing up, or even like what people might have expected from me, but it's not something that's like foreign to my ancestry. It's not something that, like, being connected to where our food comes from, having that be part of like your everyday schedule or cycle, like that be around taking care of your food, making your food, growing your food. That's something that like the people that I come from have been doing for centuries. And it's like really maybe in the last couple of generations that we've disconnected from that. So it feels like a really cool sort of homecoming on stolen land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so complicated, you know, because we are not off this land.
No.
We are off some lands, but they are not these lands.
Yeah. Our communities have been doing this.
Yeah,
this idea of like going to like a supermarket and like doing stuff, getting your food only from there, and not realizing that like this like soil, this is the building block of life.
I know, and I just think about like communities that we, outside of just like racial or ethnic communities that we are from, like we're from a lot of different communities, and being able to access food that is like not mass produced is like only possible if you have like financial or socioeconomic access, privilege, security, and a whole host of other things.
We're not growing absolutely everything that we could possibly eat, or thinking that the only thing that we will eat are the things that we grow. It's about being able to have the option to do that.
And like just growing something.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue. What are we like? What are we trying to do? This being our first year here, we're two. Sorry, I'm starting to get into your lane there. What is a goal that you have for this year?
I just want to learn and get to know this land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have like a lot of expectations outside of that. I think also I feel like we have a lot of responsibility and like stewardship
Mm-hmm.
of this place, of like the animals that are on it, and then like soon a little human.
Yeah.
So I feel like the expectations on the plants is pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Okay, so what are my goals, or what am I envisioning?
Like, what are your goals? Yeah, for this year. Like, what do you?
This year. Woo.
Or this season, this growing season.
This growing season, I think it's very similar to you in terms of just observing. I feel like I've been doing years and years of reading books, of talking to people, of watching YouTubers, getting you to watch like farming YouTubers or homesteading YouTubers, and I'm really excited to try things, you know, like have pigs within living here for 2 weeks. Having meat chickens that are going to be going on grass very soon, and actually, you know, growing some plants and food. So we're not just letting everything just grow and see what happens. We are kind of trying things, and I think it's a lot more trial and error.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're ever going to stop experimenting and trying things, but I feel like this year is really that kind of those things that I've been like dreaming about trying. Like dreaming about trying to have, you know, 2 pigs to clear where we want to plant vegetables and have a garden. And actually being able to have 2 pigs and be clearing plot. And then also to be able to we will eventually move them into like the forest area to clear that and start to think about how do we build like a food forest, and a food forest not just in the foresty area, but a food forest on this property that'll sustain not just us or the animals that we bring onto the land, but the animals that have been living here. Like the bird life is amazing. There's woodpeckers, there's all kinds of birds that I don't even know.
Ducks.
We have 2 ducks that live in the creek. We will probably get some deer come through. We will have, and what does it mean to be living here, to be trying to grow food for us, but not just stop there, not just feel entitled to this food should be for us only, you know? And being okay that, you know, our chickens are going to get into our garden. And I would much rather have a garden that has animals enjoying it, that proves that it's alive, and that it's like interesting and delicious food, rather than something that's like sterile. I'm really excited for all of our tomatoes and our peppers to be able to can stuff. We eat a lot of like tomato based stuff. We use like tomato paste fairly often, and to be able to have tomatoes that grew here that we've touched, that we will then process and preserve and can or freeze or whatever we do, that we can then eat and enjoy when it's not that season. I think finding that balance between going back to the land and learning about the land where it currently is, and then learning about tools and ways that we can build the soil, because that's what it's. Everything comes back to the soil. We can't do anything. We can't have anything without like good, healthy, rich soil.
Yeah.
Is there a particular thing that we're growing this year that you're very or most excited for?
That we're growing?
Yeah.
That's like a plant?
Yeah, not the baby.
Okay. I really like spicy things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for all the different types of like spicy peppers that we're growing. Yeah, I think that's going to be really cool. I think it'll be really exciting to like see the difference in our grocery store trips when we're like harvesting.
Yeah.
And preserving and thinking about how we will be able to enjoy some of the labor that we're doing today.
Because this is purely off just like theory.
Yeah.
We theorize.
And we don't have a lot, like it's not like we're going to have enough food for the rest of the year. Like it's not that pressure isn't there. You know, we can still go buy things.
Yeah,
but
we're very, very privileged.
Yes, very privileged in that way. But it will be really cool to be like, oh, we don't need to buy tomatoes anymore. Yeah. Like, I think that was really cool when we first got our laying flock.
Yeah.
When it was like, we don't buy eggs anymore.
And the eggs that we get from them are, like, the yolks are orange.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Do you want to talk about, like, maybe some adventures in growing that did not go the way they did? The flops, the things that didn't go as planned, or maybe were disappointing.
Yeah. There's far more flops than successes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the okras.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
we can start
year.
from this year. Planted a bunch of okra. Like started little okra seedlings. Really excited. One popped up in a couple days. Looked great, and then it failed to thrive. Like it literally stood there
to launch.
with
Anybody
its first,
see that movie?
first little leaves under the light. Did nothing. The leaves just drooped over in a couple weeks, and then it shriveled up and died.
Yeah.
I'm still going to put some okra seeds in the ground to see what happens then. But that was sad. I was really excited about having, I had dreams of a freezer full of okra that we could just bust out in the middle of the winter and fry up or put in some curries or stews. Oh, they're just so delicious. And, like, I'm going to keep trying this year, next year. Last year, the garden last year, we were in the middle of the city. And I was like, yes! There was this little patch of dirt next to the parking lot. And right next to where our car is, I asked the landlord, oh, can I do something here? And he's like, sure? I don't know what it'll grow. I got soil, I got compost, I dug it up, cleaned it out, put all the stuff in. I definitely did not put enough layers of soil. I was digging, I was like, oh wow, I expected there to be like parking lot underneath, but I was like, oh, there's some kind of dirt, some soil here, so I don't have to put as much. And we got, 3 little yellow tomatoes, 2 of which squirrels got, and they enjoyed it.
Yep.
And then we got a handful of little hot peppers, and I think we got 2, like maybe a couple of little cucumbers.
Yeah.
We got maybe 5 red tomatoes on the vine. We got a lot of greens. We got some zucchini flowers. And like that's not really a flop. It just wasn't compared to what we had planted.
Yes.
But it was also a very good learning experience.
Yeah.
And realizing that we really like the taste of broccoli and cauliflower leaves.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
They're so good.
I think this flop of letting things get overgrown, like really, really overgrown, it has turned into learning of like, okay, maybe things don't have, grass doesn't need to be an inch and a half, 2 inches tall for it to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I kind of knew that, but I had this pressure. Like, I see people mowing like every other day and be like, why am I not out there on my lawn tractor mowing?
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing? And so I got a scythe, if people didn't know.
If you missed that excitement, you should check out the last couple of
You
videos.
didn't think I was going to bring it up, did you? You thought you missed the window.
It's always time to talk about scythe.
And, being able to mow the back, being able to mow around the garden and realizing I'm mowing mulch for our garden.
Yeah.
Instead of paying, even $70 for a truck, like a load of wood mulch that'll come and be dropped somewhere, and then we have to get a wheelbarrow and you put it in the wheelbarrow and take it to the garden, and that's just so much heavy work for our bodies, and I'm not missing anything.
Nope.
Actually, we're gaining.
Mm-hmm.
We're gaining free mulch. We're gaining, if we use it green, like greens for compost, or we could let it dry out and then we have carbon for compost. Like, it's just
Food for the soil, even if you didn't move it.
Oh, yeah.
It's feeding the soil.
I think that's a really, really great point. I'm
take
excited
away.
to see, like, what we're going to flop at this year.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Just plant something.
Mm-hmm.
Plant a seed.
Just plant it.
Just put it in some soil.
Just plant it.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know if you have other questions.
Or thoughts?
Or share what are your flops? What have you learned from your flops?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, see you next time. Bye.
I did the thing!
You did it!